Yes, NBA playoffs update here. Beautiful CBS music. Game 4 intro 1987.
It was a
The night
well-directed
that
Lakers
Magic
attack
hit the
that
sky
captured
hook
the first two
with the
games
three
of
Hall
the
of
NBA
Famers.
Finals. Los Angeles
By
was
the way,
impressive
still
with
the
their
leading
passing
triple-double
and
player in
relentless
playoff
with their
history.
running
Even though
as
some
they
other guys
overwhelmed
who
the
are
humbled
supposedly the best player
Celtics
of all
team.
time are
It was obvious
played
the
70
defending
more
champions
games,
were vulnerable,
which is why they're
and there
not.
were
But
whispers
that's
of
the
a
story for
sweep.
another day. Just like to remind everybody of that. Miss those old playoff days. And as we get to the NBA playoff bracket here, we see that we're in the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference Finals. Got Rosie up here, a little different location here. Not in the office right now, some stuff being done in the office. But Dallas Mavericks pull off quite an upset over the Phoenix Suns. We'll get to that in a minute. Golden State took care of Memphis, and it's just a shame that Ja couldn't have been healthy. And we'll get to that in a minute. The Miami Heat took care of the Sixers, and again, Joel Embiid hurt. That was unfortunate. And Milwaukee and Boston again, no Middleton. So again, that leads me to my point here on Telling It Like It Is. I haven't heard this point anywhere else, and you won't, because we're the best, and everybody else is just swimming in our wake. But again, should have a 70-game schedule, no back-to-back games. With a 70-game schedule and being able to have a no back-to-back games, you should be able to spread that out over the same amount of times, because this crap where we do load management during the season and nobody plays any defense and nobody goes as hard as they do in the playoffs. Everybody coming up lame, people getting injured in the playoffs because they're not used to the physicality and they're not used to the effort. You can't just turn it on like a switch. And this is one way we can maybe get load management out of this crap ass bullshit. Excuse my French, but you know what? It's crap. 70 games, no back to backs. Don't want to hear about load management. Put something in the CBA. You say, oh, Jesus Christ, the owners aren't going to want that. Yeah, well, the owners were going to want no load management too. So make a damn agreement here. Has to be legitimate injuries. Put protocols in place, because this is crap. And you're having too many injuries, and we're not getting the best basketball players being available to play their best when their best is needed. And that's garbage. So we don't need that. So let's come to some agreement here. Let's get 70 games, because basketball is not a game of historical game numbers like baseball is, or other sports are. But basketball doesn't matter. You're playing 82 or 70. It's about averages. And you know what? Let's play 70. Let's get rid of the back-to-backs. And on the other end, the owners get back no load management. Let's make it a deal. Let's get quality in the playoffs. Let's get healthier bodies in the playoffs, because these guys definitely are softer and they're not used to the contact in the playoffs, which is how defense used to always be played. And we could solve some problems. Maybe we can get rid of some of these injuries, because this is just not as much fun as it could be. And the playoffs have been a blast, but it could have even been better. Just think if we could all had healthy teams here, it would have been amazing. And again, every year the NBA continues to be the sport ravaged the most by playoff injuries. And football, even as much of a contact sport as that is, and definitely the most physical sport out there, they seem to be having less injuries than even basketball has, which is a real problem. But again, that's a story for another day. I'm telling like it is. But got to get back to some kind of relevance here as far as keeping players healthy, and just got to commit to it. Another thing I want to talk about. I want to bring up the dumbest saying in sports. A series doesn't start until someone loses a home game. Do you realize how stupid that comment is? If I hit, I'm going to vomit every time I hear this comment. A lot of vomiting tonight of comments I want to share with you. But again, so are you telling me the 87 Twins and Cardinals, where each team won all their home games, the series didn't start? Well, last time I checked, the Twins won 4-3. And it didn't matter because no one lost a home game. So that's that phrase that the series doesn't start till someone loses a home game is just the dumbest phrase. If you hold serve, you can win the series. You could win 4 games to 3, win all your home games, lose all your road games. It's happened multiple times in sports, many times in sports. So can we just lose the stupidity of that quote? It is just dumber than dumb. It is one of the dumbest quotes we have in sports. It's like a walk as good as a hit. It's not. No one's taking an extra base on a walk. So just pipe down. Take your head out of your ass and know what the hell's going on. So now let's get to some other things that we need to clear up. And again, these are Hall of Fame players. We mentioned before, I never want to hear from Kyrie Irving or JJ Redick about, JJ Redick, who thinks that Bob Cousy, and he said himself, anybody over 60, he's not really concerned about. Well, that's Magic and Bird, who saved the damn NBA. So JJ ought to take a history class. But then again, he's trying to fit in and be a shill for ESPN and the modern day player. He's one of those guys who, you feel like just saying to JJ, what isn't acceptable for an NBA player to do today? Just set the bar for us so we know what we're dealing with. Just set it as low as you can get where you'll never criticize one of them. So it's just a disgrace. But we already criticized Kyrie enough. It's just I give him credit for not wanting to get a vax. That's not the problem. He just doesn't want to play enough, whether it be the vax or some other party he goes to or anything else. But if I have to hear one more time that James Harden is like a major player of all time, I'm gonna spit on somebody. I mean, this guy again. How do you take one shot in a 22-minute stretch in a game 6 between the second and third quarters, late second into the early fourth quarter, a 22-minute stretch? You took one shot. And this is not the first time that James has done this. James has done this multiple times. He just checks out. I mean, it's a different kind. It's not even a normal kind of failure. This is a special mental failure on this man's part. How does a man who's been one of the biggest ball hogs in the history of the NBA take one shot in a 22-minute span with your season on the line when your team is behind and falling behind more and more and more? Don't you see the writing on the wall, James? Don't you have to step up? Takes one shot in a 22-minute span. Please spare me the cheap regular season numbers playing Mike D'Antoni offense, which I respect, by the way, great offensive coach. But please respect me putting up numbers in that system. Please spare me that crap. Spare me the crap of putting up numbers. Again, no league has more meaningless numbers than the NBA guys. Alex English, great player, but again, another guy put up a ton of numbers. All right, we got Lillard putting up great numbers. Great, putting up great numbers. What do you get? What do you got with those numbers? So James Harden just checks out again in another playoff, and this is like one of those 13 turnover games for Golden State he had. This is just a disgrace, and we know he doesn't guard. Now I give James credit for getting a lot of assists and stuff, but you know what? This man is totally out of shape. The rumors at the club are all going to catch up with him now because you know what? Can't party like that every night and still play basketball. And his profile looks like my profile. That's not good. So, it's not good. The man is overweight. It's not working out for you. He's a pro basketball player. I'm not. There's a difference. And the bottom line is, sorry, not getting it done. I don't want to hear about him. Next guy, Chris Paul, first ballot Hall of Famer. If I have to hear one more time, again, I said this 2 weeks ago and telling you like it is, Devin Booker saying he's the best point guard to ever do it. Now, I know you got to say that, but you don't have to say the best point guard to ever do it. I mean, Magic Johnson would just crap all over this guy. Isaiah Thomas, who I hated, by the way, because I'm not a homer. I'll take Isaiah over him. I'll take Stockton over him. I'll take Frazier over him. I mean, there's a ton of guys out there who can really play this position. And, Steve Nash, 2-time MVP, Steph Curry, Jerry West. I mean, we got tons of guys. So, and we're probably forgetting a ton more. So let's not sit here. Jesus, the best point guard of all time, really? Or a top 5 of all time? And get the hell out of here. You got to be kidding me. Yeah, he's a very good player. First ballot Hall of Famer. Great player. Great player. I know he's a little banged up, but Jesus, when are you not banged up, guy? And here's the thing. Last night, this series against Dallas, not getting it done. Had some great games. He was officiated unfairly in game 4. I never seen a guy foul out in less minutes than that as a point guard. I thought the refs really took Phoenix out of that game in game 4. But when they got up 2-0, it did not look good for Dallas because, even though Dallas was a top 10 defensive team, that their defense wasn't working out too well. But, geez, top 5 point guard of all time? And come on, bro. I don't know, man. I'm not seeing it. I mean, Jesus Lord. But again, everybody's got to be the best ever. The best is when you have like a 25-year-old telling you that. That's why I laugh at JJ Redick. I take a history class on the game. But please, could we just get over this? I don't want to hear about him anymore. And we go on these websites. I just don't want to hear about it. It's just incredible stupidity. Just be done with it already. He's not the best ever point guard. It's not even close. Isaiah would just kick his ass. Isaiah was a freaking axe murderer on the court. Couldn't stand him, but Isaiah will just come and kick your ass and leave change. That's what Isaiah would do to you. Go check out Knicks Pistons game 5. Watch Isaiah score 14 points in 2.5 minutes. All right, just go check that out. Tell me what happened there. Go check him out versus the Lakers in game 6 in '88. Go check out that. Let me know what happens there. Let me know if he stepped out with an injured ankle, or did he continue against one of the best defenders in the history of the game, Michael Cooper, and having the best quarter I think you'll ever see in your life, maybe besides Clay's 37. But give me a break. I mean, holy crap. And in the series Dallas just took care of business. They were laughing at Luka, and Luka hit a couple of shots last night in game 7. I couldn't believe it. I mean, he just hit some shots and he just plays with a joy and he's laughing. And you know what's funny about Luka? He's the best slow player I've ever seen in my life. There's not a person at home who doesn't think they can cover Luka. You're all watching the game saying, I can cover that guy. And you really believe that. He must have just some kind of strength where people just bounce off him, but his game is just, it's unbelievable. Between him and Joker, I mean, it's just slow and slower, and they're both just amazing players, which, you know, in the American system today, if this kid was in high school, you wonder how much recruitment he'd get. Someone would tell you he was too slow. I mean, it's just incredible. Great, great, great players. But Luka, just unbelievable last night. A couple of shots. I had to leave the room for a while. I was like, what am I watching here? They were all over him. And Johnson was all over him. I mean, I don't know what you want him to do. He played perfect defense, hitting step backs in the lane from 15, from 3. I mean, everything. It's just unbelievable. Luka's, best European player, him a Joker. By the time neither of them leave, he'll be even better than Dirk was. I mean, it's not even gonna be a question, I think, if they just stay healthy. But Dallas did a great job on defense, and Phoenix seemed to panic and not run a lot of offense. I think they should use JaVale McGee a little more. They had a little question mark last night with DeAndre Ayton. He said it was a private matter between why they didn't put him back in. He only played 17 minutes. I mean, I don't know what that means. I mean, he is a free agent, so that's going to be interesting. So that series is fascinating. I think Memphis in their series versus Golden State made a big mistake in not getting Adams involved more. You can see it did bother Golden State on the backboard a little bit. I would love to have seen Ja be healthy, but Golden State prevailed, and you got to see if Iggy's going to be healthy this series because remember, Iggy can cover anybody. And if there's a guy that can cover Luka, if we can get Iggy to get out there, he might be able to check Luka as well as you can check him. Between Iggy, Clay, and Draymond, I think you could do it. The question is, who does Luka cover? If I'm the Mavs, I go small and I put Luka on Draymond and beg Draymond to shoot. I'll just play like center, play at the foul line, stay out of that 3-second lane, and just help on everybody else. And I would just dare Draymond to beat me shooting 25%. Or I would really play him zone. Why am I chasing Golden State all over the place to give up the same shots and be twice as tired? Play a zone and you direct where you want the shots to go from. You say, Jesus Christ, Dave, Golden State's great shooting team. You're right, but why am I chasing you around to have the same result as far as playing zone? When I can play zone, I can direct the ball to where I need it to go and direct it to who I need to go to and make somebody else beat you. I guess it's just ridiculous how much shooting Golden State has on the floor. So this series is going to be really interesting. I want to see if Iggy's healthy. I mean, there's no real word yet if he's going to be totally healthy or not, but I would like to see him out there. Of course, they lost Peyton, who's a good player, but Golden State does one great thing. They create their own bench, and a lot of guys just don't create a bench. And these teams always talk about how they have no bench. Part of the bench is a coach's responsibility is to create a bench, and Golden State has done that. All right, so they've taken guys like Peyton, who are no superstar players, and they've made them good players. And look what they've done for Poole. Now Poole benefits from playing with two of the best 3 shooters of all time on the floor, and so does Draymond. But you know what? They've done a good job. They've done a solid job of having guys. Looney's a good player. I mean, they've done a great job. It's been interesting to see which team goes with their lineups here. It was really fun to watch this kind of chess match going on here. 2 solid coaches. So it should be pretty interesting. So Golden State and Dallas, I have to think Golden State definitely has the advantage. I just don't think Dallas has enough firepower. And Golden State seems to be pretty deep, but Golden State is beginning to show a little wear. They haven't shot the ball as well as they normally shot in the last series. I thought they struggled to shoot it. And I know Memphis is did some decent things defensively, but geez, and you got to see how, Golden State's going to shoot it if their legs are, showing a little age, even though they've, last couple of years, they didn't make deep runs. They're still got a lot of mileage on those legs. And the other thing is, how are you going to let Draymond be ref this series? Is Draymond going to be allowed to do what he wants, or are we going to keep a close watch on Draymond? Are they going to give Luka calls, or are they not going to give Luka calls? These are very important things because Luka's a contact player. The guys on the Warriors are not. So this is going to be interesting to see how this series is refed. I mean, I have to say that Golden State would probably be the favorite. I'm just looking forward to a great series. I'm really excited about it. But in the Memphis series, I just wish Ja was healthy. That would have been something fun to see. Miami-Philadelphia series, James Harden, like I said, just checked out. You feel bad for Joel Embiid. He got hurt. Jimmy Butler just went off. And, Jimmy's a tough player, but I like Miami's depth. I just feel like, and I feel Spoelstra's a very solid coach. And I feel like the key to Spoelstra is he's allowed to coach because Pat Riley's not going anywhere and Pat Riley's not going into any peer pressure. So you feel like Eric Spoelstra is allowed to coach. And I think that makes a big difference when you're allowed to coach, as opposed to some of these guys who are always looking over the shoulder, having to kiss somebody's ass. And I don't think that Spoelstra's in that situation. They said Doc Rivers is coming back. Daryl Morey said that, but what that means is he might just not be firing him now. I just can't imagine. If I was Doc, would you want to come back? I mean, why doesn't Doc go coach somewhere else? I mean, just get away from the craziness of James Harden. James Harden is never going to be happy until he's allowed to do whatever he wants, like he did with the Rockets. And it's going to be one of those situations. It's just going to be a mess. So that series, though, very disappointing that we didn't have a healthy Joel Embiid. And unfortunately, that's the way it goes. And it's a tough break. And that's why I said we got to do something to get the health of these players back. I don't want more time off between games because you do have to reward a little bit of, toughness and things of that nature, which we already have too much time off between some of these games. But Miami Philadelphia series is solid. Best series of the round though was definitely Milwaukee and Boston. Milwaukee comes out in game one and beats the hell out of them. But as like I said to people, Boston just didn't make open shots in game one. They got open shots, they didn't make them. And then people yesterday in game seven with their crazy narratives, how Boston's so connected. Yeah, Milwaukee's connected too. But the bottom line is when you score 40 more points than someone on the 3-point line, you're going to win the game. So take your narrative and stick it. It's a make it miss it league. It always has been. It always will be. When you're getting so many jump shots as of today, when everybody's willing to shoot the three, it's about making and taking it. And you know what? I think that Boston made 19 threes, and I believe that Milwaukee made 4. So was that 57-12? That's, that's a 45-point difference on the 3-point line. You're not overcoming that. I'm sorry. When a team hits 19 threes and you hit 4 threes, you're losing that game. I'm sure there's a game somewhere where that didn't happen and a team with the 4 threes won, but I'd like to know who that is and what post player they had to dominate the game inside, or what free throw differential they made up. Giannis just looked exhausted. No one could make a shot. Connaughton and Grayson Allen couldn't make shots. They really missed Middleton. Middleton, very underrated player. I didn't think they stuck with Lopez long enough, and I thought they should use Portis a little more myself. But, again, everybody switches everything today. So these guys get in foul trouble. It's a tremendous amount of foul trouble. Tatum played great in game 6. He played really well again in game 7. Even he got in foul trouble, though, and Milwaukee is down 15. Tatum goes out with about 7 minutes left in the third quarter, and Milwaukee doesn't close the gap, and that's the game right there. But I really love Drew Holiday. He's like the modern day Dennis Johnson. He's a very good player, very underrated player, great defender, very intelligent player. He's like him and Giannis. So I love watching him, but I love Holiday. He's definitely one of my favorite players. Every year, just watching him has just been so enjoyable because he plays both ends of the floor and he competes like a maniac. You have to love him. But Boston came out, Brown, they had a good balance. Williams, you got to give Williams credit. And this one best thing about the playoffs this year, a lot of new blood, guys who weren't high draft picks, guys who weren't drafted at all, who've worked at their game and set a great example for players out there. You got to work. There's no substitute for getting in the gym. Williams was a post player in college, and he was the guy that could score from like 10 to 12 feet in. And you know what? And you got to give him credit, man. This guy's worked his ass off. He's become a good player. Brunson has great success in college, but again, he's going to be a free agent this year. You look at the success that these guys have had. It's Dorian Finney-Smith just having a great time. I mean, I'm happy for I'm happy for Bullock to get off the Knicks and go over there and hit some big shots. He covered Chris Paul, did a decent job a couple of times. So, I mean, he's look at these guys who are just coming in and just becoming very good players. And it's really, really, really exciting to watch some of these guys. Marcus Smart, who I always love. I mean, just competes like a wild man. Love him to death. He just goes so hard. He's playing so banged up. He just competes. Does flop a little too much, but if you're the defensive player of the year, you're going to get those calls. So I don't blame him for doing it. But Marcus Smart, just a great play. But I think Lowry needs to be a little more healthy for Miami in this series. And it sounds like he's going to be out for game 1. So I think they miss him because they really don't have that true point without Lowry. Lowry is that true point guard where he's going to run the team. He's not going to care about himself. He's just going to care about the team's success. And Lowry is he's a dog. He's got a lot of dog in the fight, man. He's a tough dude. He competes. I think they got to get him back healthy. So this Miami team, like I said, I think they're deeper. I just don't know who's going to cover Tatum. That's going to be an interesting matchup because Jimmy's a little bit too small. I think Tatum can elevate and get over him. I just don't think, Jimmy's going to be able to cover him because, like I said, Tatum is a little longer. So it's going to be interesting. Abayu's, I wouldn't put him on that. But speaking of guys stepping up, Abayu's going to be covering Al Horford. Al Horford has just been great. I mean, what a great career Al Horford's had. Did some great job with those Atlanta teams that just couldn't get over the hump. They just weren't that good, but they overachieved because of guys like Al Horford holding people accountable. He played great. like I said, him and Williams really won the series. I know Tatum had the big numbers because he's your big dog, but really it's Al Horford and Williams that really won that series for him in game 7 there. And in game 6, Horford just played really well. Game 5, he played really well. So here we are. I mean, just incredible stuff for guys who, come out of nowhere. And, and Al Horford, everybody thought that was like an afterthought. Man, why did the Celtics pick him up again? Because Al Horford's a fighter. Al Horford's a pro. When we say pro, he's a guy who cares about the game. He cares about the result. He cares about professionalism. Now, in this NBA today, I can't say that about a lot of guys, but Al Horford, he's a pro, and he cares about the product. So during the week, we're going to check back in on the weekend. Right now, it's Monday night before game 1 kicks off between Miami and Boston. Like I said, I want to see who Miami's going to put on Boston. That's going to be really, really, really important. Like I said, I don't think it's going to be Butler, obviously. It's going to be such a fun situation. Let's check over here to the player statistics here. Jimmy Butler's been great, 28.7, shooting 52% on the year. Jason Tatum, though, he's only shooting 43%, so that 28.3 has some hollowness in it there. But, with Miami here, this is going to be quite interesting to see who covers, who's going to try to cover Tatum. I just don't know how you're going to do this because, obviously Hero's not good enough to do it. Adebayo's too big to do it. I think that he getting cheap foul trouble. He's going to have to deal with Horford anyway. It's funny how guys disappear in different series. Like in this series with Boston and Milwaukee, Thies really wasn't a part of it, but Thies will be back because he's a solid player. And he's a good player. And guess see what Brown does in the series. Jaylen Brown had 22 points a game, 48.4%. Luka's averaging 31.5. Luka only played 30 minutes last night because they did the right thing and got him out. He could have went for 50, but they were nice about it and got him out. So he's only averaging 31.5 this year. But Luka just he could have kept going. Curry's averaging 26.9 here on the screen. He has had a great playoff. Only 45% for him, which is a little low. Giannis, just incredible numbers: 14 rebounds, 7 assists, 31.7. Shot under 50%. Giannis missed a couple of easy ones yesterday, and I think that really hurt them. So it's Joel Embiid had a solid playoff. 23.6, 48%, 10.5 rebounds. Did a good job. Just didn't get enough help. Booker a little disappointing, 23.3. 45%. Again, the shooting percentage is way down this year. Some of the shooting percentage historical lows this year compared to some of the others. Tyrese Maxey stepped up though. 20.8 points a game, 48% shooting for the young fella. Shooting 94% from the line. So that's really, really, really exciting stuff right there. Klay Thompson, 20.4. Poole, 19.3. Good Lord. The guy's the third guy. You get that third guy. My man, Drew Holiday. Didn't shoot well, though. 19.1, but only shot 38% for the series. But again, 6.5 assists, 6 rebounds. That's him. This guy is a beast. I love him to death. Holiday is he's definitely worth the price of admission because he's just so tough. 1.8 steals a game, by the way. Harden, 40% from the field. 18.6 points a game. DeAndre Ayton was having a great playoff. And then yesterday, those numbers went down. He shot 64%. That's the fault of the Phoenix Suns not getting this guy the ball. This guy shot 64% and got 18 points a game. Chris Paul shot very well, 56%, 17.5 for the playoffs, but numbers way down in that last series. Tobias played solid, 17 points, 50%. Again, Tobias did not get enough shots. Obviously, there's only one basketball, it makes it tough. I'm happy for Wiggins. 14.5, shooting almost 50%. Good for him. Really excited for him going forward. Look, if Tyler Hero had a good series too, 14 points a game basically, but he only shot 42%. So this is some fun stuff here. It's going to be a great series. I tell you, I just don't know who the Heat are going to put on our guy, Jason Tatum there. I mean, he's tough. So this is going to be very, 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 very fascinating. And the other series, who are you going to put Luka on? I think it's always about matchups, and that's where the game from 1 to 2, that's where the coaching really comes into play. The 7-game series, it's not a one-night thing. You got to go through the whole thing, and you got to keep working at it. It's fascinating stuff. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see these teams. And, how they're getting it done here. Who's covering who? I think it's going to be a blast to see this. It's going to be exciting. Going to be really exciting, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk again on the weekend. We get Brett Musburger here.
Other ideas, and
Yes, game 4. Yes, Magic with the skyhook over 3 Hall of Famers.
As the Celtics played
Yes, and then the bird shot hits the back rim.
Included the
We walk worthy up the lane. Anyway, it's the heyday of the NBA. But again, so having fun here and telling like it is. What 2 of the conference finals? Give us a hoop. We're on Apple.
This series is far from over.
Ooh, Pat Riley sweating in the Boston Garden and turn up the extra heat, try to get Kareem a headache. But we got on Apple, on iTunes there, on Facebook, on Twitter. All right. We got them all, man. So come on, give us a buzz. Let us know what you think. If you want to come on, we'd love to have you on. If you did out there, very excited about the Celtics. All right.
An entire city hopeful tonight that this arena becomes the Garden of Even.
And we'll see you guys.
And in this neighborhood, the hot color is
should
green.
be a lot of fun.
The color of
It's
T-shirt.
going to be a blast.
Green
Take
as
care.
in